There are things that look like success from the outside, but when you look deeply, they are actually failure. There are things the world calls success, but if they cause you to lose your own heart, then they may not be true success at all. Some people make a great deal of money, yet their hearts do not have a single peaceful day. Some people stand in very high positions, yet when night falls they are still afraid of losing, afraid of falling behind, afraid of being replaced. Some people are praised by many, yet inside they feel lonely, empty, and no longer know what they are living for. Some people think they have defeated the whole world, but in truth they have lost to their own greed. Some people think they have everything, but when illness comes, when impermanence knocks at the door, they finally understand that the things they spent their whole life trying to hold on to cannot follow them to the very end. So my friend, do not be too quick to look at someone who has a lot and call that success. And do not be too quick to look at someone going through hardship and call that failure. There are failures today that help you awaken. There are losses today that help you release illusion. There are difficult roads where you learn humility, patience, awareness, and how to return to yourself. And there are successes today that quietly bind you to fame, gain, craving, comparison, and pride. So do not only ask yourself, have I succeeded in this life? Ask something deeper. Is my heart at peace? Is my mind still pure? Do I still know how to love others? Do I still remember impermanence? Do I still know the way back? Because even if you live a life of glory, if you still cannot escape the cycle of birth and death, then that success is only a long dream, a dream that may be beautiful, but one you must eventually wake from. Look at life closely. Most people are afraid of failure, afraid of poverty, afraid of losing face, afraid of not being recognized, afraid that others will move faster than them, afraid that they will have nothing to be proud of. Because of this fear, people rush forward in a hurry. They rush into work, rush into fame and gain, rush into comparison, rush into proving themselves, rush into endless battles of winning and losing. Some people live their whole lives just to hear a word of praise. Some people suffer their whole lives just to maintain a beautiful image in the eyes of others. Some hurt themselves, hurt the people closest to them, sacrifice their health, sacrifice their peace, just to achieve something the world calls success. But my friend, if one day this body is no longer healthy, if your eyes are no longer bright, if your breath is no longer steady, will those words of praise save you? If one day birth and death come near, will those achievements face them for you? If one day you must let go of everything, reputation, money, power, comparison, victory, and defeat, is there anything you can truly take with you? Birth and death are the great matter, but people often forget. They remember profit and loss, but forget impermanence. They remember winning and losing, but forget life and death. They remember what others think of them, but forget to ask whether their own heart is still bright. They remember to chase after things outside themselves, but forget that this body too will not remain forever. If you truly understand that birth and death are the great matter, you will worry less about hardship, success, and failure. Not because hardship does not hurt, not because failure does not bring sadness, not because success has no value, but because you have seen something greater. And that is this: all success and failure in life are only scenes that come and go. Today you may gain, tomorrow you may lose. Today you may lose, tomorrow you may gain again. Today you may be criticized, tomorrow you may be praised. Today you may stand low, tomorrow you may stand high. Today something may look like failure, but years later when you look back, it may turn out to be the turning point that saved your life. Today something may look like success, but if it feeds your greed, then years later, it may become the very reason you suffer. Success and failure are never fixed. Gain and loss are never lasting. Only the state of your heart in the middle of gain and loss is what you need to look at carefully. There are times when you fail, and you think your life has reached a dead end. But in truth, that may be the moment life is pulling you away from the wrong path. There are times when you lose an opportunity, and you think you have lost to someone else. But in truth, that may be the way destiny protects you from a burden waiting in the future. There are times when others look down on you, and you think you are less worthy. But in truth, that is the moment you learn that your value cannot be placed in the mouths of the world. There are times when you move very slowly, and you think you are falling behind. But in truth, perhaps you are being taught how to walk more steadily. There are many things in this life that we cannot understand while they are happening. We call them failure. We call them loss. We call them injustice. We call them suffering. But when time passes, when the heart settles, we begin to see. Some things that did not go our way were actually hidden blessings. And on the other hand, some things that come too quickly, too beautifully, too perfectly, may not be blessings at all. Success that comes while the heart is still weak can make you arrogant. Love that comes when the heart is not yet awake can make you cling. A large amount of money that comes before wisdom has matured can make you lose your way. A high position that comes before virtue is steady can make you forget humility. So do not only pray for life to let you win, pray that you are awake enough when you win. Do not only pray for life to give you more. Pray that you are clear enough when you have more. Do not only pray for life to remove your suffering. Pray for enough wisdom so your suffering does not become meaningless. Because a wise person does not only know how to walk through failure, a wise person also knows how to walk through success without losing themselves. You were not born only to win or lose against life. You were born to learn, to awaken, to love, to let go, to live in such a way that in the end, when you look back, you do not only ask, "What have I achieved?" but also, "What kind of person have I become?" You may have become richer, but have you become kinder? You may have become more successful, but have you become freer? You may be known by more people, but do you still know yourself? You may have gone through many storms, but have you become less resentful? You may have suffered deeply, but have you become deeper, more generous, and more awake? If the answer is yes, then even if the world does not call you successful, your life has not been wasted. But if the whole world calls you successful, while your heart is full of restlessness, craving, fear, resentment, and illusion, then you need to look again. Because there are successes that are only failures dressed in beautiful clothing. Live your life, but do not let living make you forget death. Do your work, but do not let your work make you forget your heart. Love, but do not let love make you forget impermanence. Make an effort, but do not let effort make you forget peace. Walk through success and failure, but do not let them decide your worth. If you succeed, see it as a condition that allows you to do more good. If you fail, see it as a condition that allows you to learn more deeply. If you receive, be grateful. If you lose, practice letting go. If someone stays, cherish them. If someone leaves, learn to bless them. If life gives you flowers, admire them. If life gives you thorns, learn from them. Anything that comes can become a path of awakening if you see it with an awakened heart. Anything that comes can become suffering if you see it with a deluded mind. So what you need to protect is not every achievement in the outer world. What you need to protect is a heart that knows how to return. A heart that does not forget birth and death. A heart that does not become too intoxicated when it gains. A heart that does not collapse when it loses. A heart that does not become arrogant when it succeeds. A heart that does not become discouraged when it fails. A heart that understands everything life gives will eventually change. Only wisdom, compassion, and awakening are the deepest belongings you can carry with you. My dear friend, there are things that look like success, but are actually failure. And there are things that look like failure, but are actually success. A failure that wakes you up is success. A success that makes you lose yourself is failure. A loss that teaches you to let go is success. A gain that makes you cling tightly is failure. A pain that teaches you to love others more deeply is success. A moment of glory that makes you look down on others is failure. A simple life with a peaceful heart is success. A wealthy life filled with fear may not be success at all. So do not be too quick to call your life a success or a failure. Look instead at what remains after everything. Has your heart become brighter? Has your love become wider? Have you become less greedy, less angry, less lost in illusion, less attached to the ego? Have you learned to love more, let go more, awaken more, and live more freely? If you have, then even if the road you walk is rough, you are still moving in the right direction. If not, then even if your road is covered with flowers, you still need to turn back and look within. Because in this life, no one escapes birth and death. And the greatest concern is not whether we succeed or fail in the eyes of the world. The greatest concern is to live an entire human life and still not know that we have been lost in illusion. So if you understand that birth and death are the great matter, do not worry too much about hardship, success, or failure. Worry instead whether you are still awake, whether you can still love, whether you can still let go, whether you can still keep your heart bright in the middle of gain and loss, whether you still remember the way home in this ever-changing world. Because in the end, a human life is not measured by how many times you have won. It is measured by how many times you have awakened. It is not measured by how many things you have managed to keep. It is measured by how many things you have been able to release that never truly belong to you. It is not measured by how many people admire you. It is measured by whether you can still be at peace when no one is applauding. And when one day birth and death stand before you, may you be able to smile gently because you have finally understood. Success and failure are only passing clouds. Gain and loss are only passing winds. Sorrow and joy are only waves rising and falling. And the most important thing is that through all of it, you have learned how to return to your awakened heart. If these words touched your heart, save this video and return to it whenever you need a gentle reminder. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next videos.